Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to review Arizona Sunshine 2 VR, a game that was released on all major VR storefronts December 7th, 2023 by developer Vertigo Games. It normally retails for $50 for the standard edition. I did buy this game from a third-party website. I did test it out on the MetaQuest 2 and 3 using link cable. Arizona Sunshine 2 is obviously the follow-up to the VR classic Arizona Sunshine that originally released on the Steam store back on December of 2016. When I first played the original Arizona Sunshine, I was completely blown away. It was one of the best VR games I had ever played at that time. It was a groundbreaking game. So how does Arizona Sunshine 2 stack up? Well, obviously, if you were expecting a evolution, a next-gen version of Arizona Sunshine, if you were expecting bigger, better, faster, stronger, longer, you're gonna be disappointed. Now, I'm not saying there are no improvements. I would say overall, Arizona Sunshine 2 is a more polished experience over the original. However, I would say it's more of a sideways upgrade than anything else. If you think of Arizona Sunshine 2 as an updated version with a whole new story campaign, then you'll be very happy. And for those of you that don't know, Arizona Sunshine 2 is a zombie shooter. It has a single player campaign. It does have multiplayer co-op, and it also has a horde mode that you can play single player or multiplayer as well. Now, my review is mostly going to cover the single player campaign. I did play a little bit of the horde mode, but honestly, I did not enjoy it. I thought it was too simple. It's basically a wave shooter where you get more and more zombies, and after 5 rounds, you get a break and you get a new weapon to try out, and it just goes on like that ad nauseum, and you can climb the leaderboards for bragging rights, but it's just too simple for me to enjoy. So I did spend a total of 8 hours in this game. Most of that time was spent in the single player campaign. I played mostly on normal difficulty. I did play some of the game on apocalyptic difficulty. It does take most people 4 to 7 hours to beat the game, just depending on skill and how much you like to go off the beaten path. I did have fun. I do recommend this game, but there are some faults here that keep it from being Game of the Year. Arizona Sunshine 2 is running on the Unity engine on my RTX 3080 on the default graphical settings. I did experience some frame rate drops, but I will say that I could have lowered the graphical settings, but I chose not to. But it did mostly run fine, mostly 90 frames per second. I did notice some stutters when there were lots of zombies on screen or explosions or fire. You do have full locomotion along with teleportation available, along with smooth and snap turning. You can play seated or standing. You do have magnet hands, so it is easy to pick up stuff from the ground or open lower cabinets. The camera can follow your headset or your left or right motion controller. You can adjust your height or your holster height. So there's all kinds of options, everything you would expect from a experienced VR development team. And I do want to avoid spoilers as much as I can, but I will say that this story here is much better than the original Arizona Sunshine. And the biggest reason is the doggo Buddy. You meet Buddy early on and he quickly becomes your best friend. And even more than that, he gives you a reason to care, and you as the protagonist get to pet him. You'll play fetch. You have someone to talk to. You'll go through some hardships together. There's definitely some trauma bonding here. And Buddy is more than just a companion. He's also your teammate, and he'll bring down zombies. You'll have to work together to solve some puzzles. He will alert you to certain dangers or to certain stuff he finds. But like I said, I don't want to do any spoilers, so I'm just gonna basically leave it at that. But I will say the story is focused on you and Buddy. The story is well paced. It's very humorous. It does have a lot of dad jokes, but I like them. It never takes itself too seriously, but it also has several heartfelt moments. The voiceovers are excellent, and there's a great musical soundtrack as well. The sound mix overall was good, but I did have an issue that sometimes I just couldn't hear zombies that were near me, and they would just pop up right next to me without me being able to hear them. I do think the spatial audio could have been better. Another thing that I really liked about this game was just how satisfying some of the weapons were in this game. The flamethrower was very satisfying to use, along with the shotguns in general. It was fun seeing zombies burn to a crisp or to shoot and see their limbs blown off. The weapon sights were generally very good. If you aim down sights, generally the weapons were very accurate, but you can also just hip fire and you'd be okay. You do have manual reloads, but they were all just pretty simple, a little bit on the arcade side. But if you played the original Arizona Sunshine, you know that you're often seeing the big zombie horde coming at you. So while they're not the most realistic reloads, it does work in this type of game where you're often facing a huge zombie horde. One of my biggest disappointments was that I did not find any sniper rifle. I don't think there's one in the game, and there's definitely not any sniping sections to the gameplay. I think a couple of sniping sections would have added some variety to the gunplay. Another outdated mechanic with the combat was how the ammo types was very limited. There's only 4 ammo types, even though you have a lot more weapons than that, and that just shouldn't be the case with a 2023 VR title, especially one of this pedigree. Now, you only have 3 holsters, but Buddy actually has 2 holsters of his own as well, and you also have 2 mini holsters where you can hold items such as keys or ordnance. I definitely did not like the mini holster system. I always felt like I didn't have enough space for the stuff that I needed. You have a crafting table and you get crafting items, but it didn't matter because since you can only hold 2 items, it means you really can't craft all that much. And there's also melee weapons as well, but I rarely use them just because I never had enough holster space for them. Plus they break way too fast. That's a really outdated VR mechanic, which is a shame because using melee weapons is actually pretty satisfying, especially if you go after chopping off their limbs. And while there is a nice variety of weapons, and weapons are generally very satisfying to use, what's not is the enemy variety. And to be pretty honest, there basically isn't any enemy variety. There's zombies and bigger zombies with more armor. By the way, I know the zombies are called Freds in this game, but I'm gonna call them zombies because that's what they are. Now the zombie models here look good, much better than the original Arizona Sunshine, but the problem is the lack of variety. They're all humanoids, they all walk straight towards you. Sometimes they'll be crawling on the floor, but that's very rare. Some just take more bullets because of the armor, some walk faster, and some take the help of Buddy to take down, but that's it. And it would have made sense if there were dog zombies in this game. There could have been flying bird zombies, bat zombies, exploding zombies, zombies that scream and alert other zombies to your presence, or zombies that throw puke at you, but none of that exists, and it really brings down the experience. Another thing that was puzzling is how they changed the flashlight system. As I'm sure some of you know, in the original Arizona Sunshine, you had to carry a flashlight, which limited what you could do. It was dark and it was difficult to see zombies, but the flashlight was a mechanic that really brought out the horror. Unfortunately, now you have an auto flashlight that barely illuminates, and the dark sections of this game just don't have the tension that the original had. There's also some climbing sections to this game, and they're fine, but I think it could have been done better. They could have been more tense. There could have added some combat to some of these climbing sections, but I really didn't come across any issues during the climbing portions of this game. Their only real challenge was just figuring out where you could climb and how to proceed forward. There were also some puzzles, put that in quotation marks, because they were just too easy. A lot of it was just looking for keys or getting Buddy to retrieve some items for you, just figuring out how to get there. Lastly, I do want to touch upon some of the bugs and issues I faced while playing this game. Now, I didn't run across any major game-breaking bugs, but I did run across several annoying bugs. Probably the most annoying thing was the screen suddenly going black. It seems to happen when you get too close to the edge of certain objects, and it seems like there's almost like a invisible barrier sometimes between you and an object, and it just feels very awkward. Like you feel like you could get closer to a table, but there's like an invisible barrier preventing you from getting close to it. By default, this game has 180 turning turned on, so it's very easy to misclick, at least on the MetaQuest controllers, and do a 180 when you don't want to, and and it caused me to die a couple of times. I finally had enough and changed that in the settings. I thought it might be useful, but it's really not. It kills you more than it helps you. Buddy bugged out on me several times and he would not follow my commands. He would not follow me, which can be dangerous because some zombies require Buddy's help in order to take down. In fact, I died one time because Buddy was nowhere around for me to take down this zombie that I just couldn't kill without his help. Another bug that I'll mention is that the game stopped using smooth turning that I was using and started using snap turning. That's what you see on the video that I recorded, and it also reset my player height for no reason. Okay, I lied. One last bug I'll mention is that there was lots of clipping, lots of strange animations, stuff of that sort. So overall, like I said, I do recommend this game, but it does have issues. Like I said, it's like an updated version of the original, but it's not an evolution. It retains some of the outdated game mechanics that should have been thrown out and modernized. The biggest miss is the lack of enemy variety. It really does bring down the gameplay. The good news is that the weapon variety does kind of save it, along with the fact that it's not a very long single player campaign. The narrative is very strong. I would say that's the best part of this game. The voiceovers, the story. You and Buddy go from strangers to having a very close bond, and it's a compelling story due to how close you two get. And the visuals are a slight improvement. I think they're crisper, they're clearer, but it might just be my Oculus Quest 3 headset. I would say the lighting is good for the outside sections, not so much the inside sections. And I do think it's fun for what it is. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's got humor, it's a fun romp, it's gory, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It might be a bit too expensive, but I would say just $10 cheaper and it would have been the perfect price. So like I said, I do recommend this game. I do think it's a good game, and if it's rated, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. If you enjoyed my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.
We gotta stop this thing. Hey, hello? Is this radio working? Army guy, can you hear me?
On this channel. You're the guy with my dog.
Yes, yeah. Wolfie, right? Listen, I'm gonna be there sooner than planned. We got a train working and we're heading north.
You're on a train?
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
God damn it. Listen to me. The Amber Pass is out.
The what?
The bridge! The bridge is out!
Shit. That's not good.